Soon, another mongoose joins in, helping uncover whatever is hiding below the surface. Tiny creatures that had been safely concealed underground are suddenly forced into the open. Scorpions, venomous spiders, large insects, each one is quickly seized before it can disappear again. But the mongooses are not the only hunters paying attention. The hornbill has been following every step. But someone else has a different plan. Perched quietly near the entrance is a southern yellow-billed hornbill. Unlike the sleepy family hidden underground, the bird has already been awake for quite some time. The hornbill knows exactly where today's hunt must begin, right here. It calls toward the entrance once, then again. Every morning begins with the same problem, not for the birds, for the mongooses. Hidden deep inside an old termite mound, an entire mongoose family remains curled together, enjoying the last moments of warmth before another long day begins outside. The African savanna is already waking up. The first rays of sunlight stretch across the grassland, but inside the mound no one seems eager to move. The mound remains silent. No curious faces appear. No tiny paws step outside. The mongooses are perfectly happy, pretending the morning hasn't started yet.
The hornbill waits for a few moments. It seems willing to be patient, but only for a few moments.
After all, this isn't the first morning they've shared together. The bird already knows exactly how stubborn its companions can be. If the mongoose don't wake up, neither of them will find much to eat today. So instead of giving up, the hornbill prepares for a that no alarm clock could ever match. And within moments, the peaceful morning inside the termite mound is about to come to a very dusty end. The hornbill has waited long enough. Its calls have gone unanswered. The termite mound remains as quiet as ever, as though the entire mongoose family has decided that breakfast can simply wait. The bird knows better. If voices don't work, something else will. With a quick hop toward the entrance, the hornbill lowers its head and pecks at the loose soil surrounding the opening. A moment later, tiny clumps of dirt begin flying straight into the tunnel, one after another. The dry earth, still, no one comes out. So the hornbill keeps going, more dirt, more pecks, more tiny showers of sand disappearing into the entrance. Eventually, the strategy works. A sleepy face slowly appears from the darkness. Then another. One by one, the mongooses cautiously poke their heads outside, blinking into the bright morning light. They don't look impressed. If anything, they seem slightly annoyed that someone has interrupted a perfectly comfortable morning. For the hornbill, however, this is only the first step. The bird has successfully gotten the family out of bed, and now it has another challenge waiting. It simply watches as they emerge at their own pace, already knowing that forcing them to hurry would accomplish nothing. The bird may have started the day, but the family decides when the day truly begins. So the hornbill remains nearby, patiently watching the sleepy group gather outside the mound. Breakfast is getting closer, just not quite yet, Turngull. The hardest part of the morning is finally over. The entire mongoose family has made its way out of the termite mound for food. The mongooses have their own schedule, and they follow it every single morning. Some begin grooming each other carefully, working through one another's fur with quick, practiced movements. Others in the first rays that spread across the savanna. There is no sign of urgency. No one seems worried about breakfast just yet. The hornbill watches from nearby. It has seen this routine countless times before, so instead of growing impatient, it simply waits. Experience has taught the bird that the hunt always begins eventually, and it just has to let the family finish preparing first. Little by little, the group becomes more active. The sleepy movements disappear. The quiet morning slowly gives way to the energy of another day. Then, just before leaving the safety of the mound, the mongooses perform one final ritual, one after another. Each mongoose leaves its scent high above the ground before moving on. The higher scent marks create the impression that a much larger animal has passed through the area. To anything wandering nearby, the message is simple. This place is already occupied. With the morning routine complete, the family finally begins to move. The hornbill immediately follows close behind. Its long wait is over. Now, both the bird and the mongooses are heading toward the same destination. Breakfast has finally begun. The mongoose family spreads out across the savanna. The hunt has officially begun. Almost immediately, their noses go to work. Each mongoose moves with its head close to the ground, pausing every few steps to investigate a new scent. What appears to be an empty patch of earth is anything but empty to them. One mongoose suddenly stops. Its nose remains fixed on a single spot. Within seconds, it begins digging. Loose dirt flies backward as its front paws work quickly. Soon, another mongoose joins in, helping uncover whatever is hiding below the surface. Tiny creatures that had been safely concealed underground are suddenly forced into the open. Scorpions, venomous spiders, large insects, each one is quickly seized before it can disappear again. But the mongooses are not the only hunters paying attention. The hornbill has been following every step. Instead of digging for food itself, the bird watches the ground disturbed by the busy family. Every burst of flying soil sends beetles, lizards, and insects scrambling away. The hornbill reacts instantly. With a quick dash and a precise snap, it grabs prey. At first glance, it almost looks like the bird is stealing someone else's meal, but neither side seems bothered. The mongooses continue searching beneath the soil. The hornbill continues catching whatever escapes.
Without speaking, without competing, each simply follows the other in a routine both have repeated countless times.
Together, they turn an ordinary stretch of grassland into a moving hunting ground. From a distance, it may seem like a lucky coincidence, but the hornbill is offering something far more valuable. And high above the savanna, that moment is about to prove its worth. The morning hunt continues without interruption. The mongooses move from one patch of ground to another. Everything seems perfectly ordinary. The hornbill hops behind the mongooses. Then, it suddenly stops. The bird no longer looks at the ground. Instead, it lifts its head toward the open sky. Its sharp eyes scan far beyond what the mongooses can see. Then, the hornbill lets out a rapid series of loud calls. Its wings beat hard against the air. The sound cuts through the quiet grassland. Every mongoose freezes instantly. Without stopping to search for danger, the entire family races toward the nearest termite mound. Within moments, the busy feeding ground is empty. The mongooses disappear deep inside. High above them, a martial eagle circles silently. The predator never had the chance to surprise its prey. The danger has passed. Slowly, one cautious mongoose steps into the sunlight. Seeing no sign of the eagle overhead, it moves a little farther away from the entrance.
Another follows, then another.
Within moments, the entire family is back outside. The morning's interruption is already behind them. Not far away, the hornbill remains nearby, watching, quiet. Its warning has done exactly what it needed to do. Now, without wasting any time, the bird returns to the ground, falling back into its familiar place beside the mongooses. The hunt begins again. The family spreads across another section of the savanna. Noses sweeping slowly over the earth. It doesn't take long before several mongooses stop beside an active termite mound again. They sniff the ground. Again, they search carefully for signs of hidden food beneath the surface. Then, the digging begins. Front paws work rapidly through the loose soil, breaking apart the outer layer of the mound. Small insects that had remained safely hidden only moments before are suddenly exposed to the open air. For the banded mongooses, the discovery is well worth the effort. The insects provide another rich source of food, and the family wastes no time collecting them. As always, the hornbill is close behind. The bird never competes with the mongoose. Instead, it waits for the disturbance they create. As insects scatter in every direction, the hornbill darts forward with perfect timing, snapping up prey that would have been nearly impossible to find on its own. Once again, both sides benefit from the same search. The mongooses continue feeding, the hornbill continues following. Everything seems to have returned to its familiar rhythm, but only for a moment. Without warning, the hornbill suddenly stops eating. It flies onto the branch of a nearby tree. Its eyes fix on something moving through the distant grass. The sound is sharp, urgent, impossible to mistake. The mongooses don't hesitate.
Just as they did before, they immediately abandon their search for food and sprint toward the nearest termite mound.
Their bodies disappear beneath the ground within seconds, trusting the bird's warning without question. The savanna falls quiet. The hornbill remains perched high above, its attention fixed on a single point in the distance. Something is approaching. At first, only a large shape can be seen moving slowly through the tall. Instead, recognition replaces caution. The visitor is a warthog. He's a can of Lachine Edersley. The mongooses waste no time. One after another, they climb onto the warthog's sturdy body, moving carefully across its shoulders, back, and neck. They aren't interested in the warthog itself. They're searching for something much smaller. Tiny ticks hide deep within the dry, cracked mud covering the warthog's skin. Earlier, the mud helped cool its body and shield it from the intense African sun. But after drying, it created countless small folds where parasites could settle unnoticed. For the warthog, those unwanted passengers are a constant irritation. For the mongooses, they are another valuable meal. Working patiently, the mongooses use their sharp teeth to remove each tick they find. The warthog remains surprisingly relaxed. allowing the tiny hunters to continue their careful inspection. Nearby, the hornbill quietly watches. Once again, another feeding opportunity has appeared.
3 very different animals, 3 completely different ways of finding food, yet all of them benefit.
The warthog is relieved of the parasites. The hornbill remains beside companions that create new opportunities. Across the African savanna, moments like these reveal something far more remarkable. Sometimes, survival isn't built on strength alone. It grows from knowing when another animal can make life easier. And as the sun slowly begins its journey toward the horizon, another successful day of foraging is almost complete.
As the day draws a close, the mongoose family begins making its way back across the African savanna.
The hornbill is still there. Throughout the day, the 2 companions have searched the same ground. The mongoose disturbed the ground, uncovering insects. The hornbill follows closely behind. In return, the bird constantly watches the world above. Its sharp eyes notice danger long before the mongoose could.
As evening settles over the grassland, the day's foraging finally comes to an end.
Tomorrow morning, the hornbill will return. The mongooses will probably want to keep sleeping just a little longer.
Survival belongs to those who know when to work together. That quiet partnership begins again with every new sunrise.